So what vehicle do I like more, my Jeep Wrangler or my Jeep Gladiator? Is the Alaska trip still going to happen with what's going on in the world? Am I happy with the soft top that I installed on my Jeep? And what's my overland vehicle dream build if I could choose? Those questions and more you've submitted and we're going to talk about on this episode of Garage Coffee. Stay tuned. Welcome to TrailRecon. I'm Brad, and today on this episode, I'm going to spend a little time in the garage here, enjoying a little coffee, and answering some of the questions that you've been submitting on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I've been getting a lot of questions. I just wanted to take an opportunity to answer some of them. Now, normally I would do this on a live video, but I just don't like the quality of live video and the audio, and so I just wanted to film this. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a one take. So we're not going to edit this at all. So if Jordan burps or I spill my coffee or my wife walks in here and yells at me, well, we're just gonna let it roll and see what happens. So kind of like a live video, but definitely better quality. Okay, let's dive in to some of your great questions. So we're gonna start off with Jason Kimball. What is the absolute favorite thing about being out and overlanding on the trails? That's a great question, and there are so many things that I love about being out on the trails and exploring new places and going through some cool obstacles. But at the end of the day, for me, what it's all about is the memories that I make with my family and friends. I have so many great memories of places we've been and things that have happened. And hopefully my family has some of those same memories that will last a lifetime. For me, that's what it's all about. I love building my vehicles and going out and exploring, but having the memories of accomplishing some of those great adventures, that's what I love. Sonic Man asks, any plans to put an extended fuel range fuel tank on Amelia, the Gladiator? Yes, absolutely something that I have been looking hard at. Now, my understanding is there's only one or two manufacturers right now that have an extended fuel range for the Gladiator. And what I've seen is they hang pretty low below the bottom of the Jeep. And I don't want that because oftentimes I'm going over obstacles and the last thing I want to do is snag a fuel tank. So I'm looking for something that's going to be sleeker. It may mean a little bit less extra fuel, but just having some extra fuel on there that I don't have to carry in cans, I can just flip a switch and pull from another tank will be great. So definitely in the future, just waiting for the right product to come out. The Whaley Life. When are you going to do a classic 4x4? I know you love them. Yeah, I love classic vehicles. You know, when I was a kid, my dad and grandpa and I, we would go to classic car shows, and I just grew up doing that all the time. I've owned a few classic cars and restored them, and so it is on my to-do list to do a classic overland off-road vehicle, and we're going to build that here. I have been looking at a lot of them, haven't I, Jordan?
Yeah, you've been looking a lot.
I've been looking a lot, and so I think that that's something I'm going to do here in the future. You know, maybe a old Cherokee Chief or a Wagoneer, something like that I think would be totally cool, but there will be a classic 4x4 in my garage. When the time is right, when the budget's right, that's going to happen. Gevork McCheon. Yeah, I know I didn't say that right. I apologize. I was interested to know if you will be driving the Jeeps all the way to Alaska or shipping them. Great question. So we have been planning for our Alaska trip for the last several months. It's going to be an 8,300 mile trip up to Prudhoe Bay, down to the Denali National Forest. Just going to be an awesome adventure. And we have been having Zoom meetings. We've been having Zoom meetings long before they were popular recently. And we talked just a couple days ago about, look, we're still going to plan like we're going. That's with Kevin and Brittany from Lightbright, Marco, Eric, Josh. We're all planning on still leaving on our departure date that we have planned. But world events could change that, but hopefully things will open up. I mean, right now the border from US to Canada is closed, so we couldn't go today if we wanted to. But hopefully by the beginning of summer, things will have opened up and we can still go. So yes, we will be driving, not shipping our vehicles. That was the question, but we're still going to Alaska. Just a matter of when. Dan McBee, have you done or are you considering doing the TAT? And so for those of you that don't know, the TAT is the Transamerica Trail that goes from east to west or west, east, or whichever way you want to do it. And Marco and I have talked about this in the past. That's definitely a bucket list trail we would love to do. Now, it takes about 3 weeks to do the Transamerica Trail, so that's something we have to plan for. Right now, we're focused on Alaska, but maybe next year or the following year, that's something we would love to do. I think it would be a great trip. Nick AAA Brott. If you couldn't buy a Jeep, completely hypothetical, what would you choose for an overlanding rig? That's a great question. Now look, I'm a Jeep owner. I love Jeeps. Jordan just got another Jeep. But there are a lot of great overland vehicles out there, and I don't know. I think an old Bronco would be fun. Like a first gen Bronco would be a cool one to have. Something with solid axles, just for the type of wheeling that I do. A solid axle vehicle would be great. The new Bronco, I'm excited to check that out when it comes out. I know it's not going to be a solid axle in the front, but they're talking that it's going to have a pretty interesting independent suspension. So that might be a cool vehicle to build. That's not a Jeep, but I think an old Bronco would be fun. Peak JKU, what is the most underrated Jeep mod that you have ever loved? Well, we just did a video on that recently, and so go check that video out. We talked about the tailgate table. So I installed a tailgate table on my Jeep Wrangler like 3 years ago. Man, that thing has just been great. I cook on it, I throw tools on there. I use that thing all the time, not even when I'm out camping. Sometimes if I'm just at the store and need to put things on while I'm organizing stuff, I use the heck out of that table. We just installed one on my wife's Jeep, and then Jordan and I have been talking about doing one for his TJ. Yep. Definitely gonna do that, right? Whether we buy one or build one, we'll be doing that. So underrated Jeep mod, that would be a tailgate table. Go check out that video. John Lee Rhino Rubicon, any plans for an adventure out east? Out east. Yes. We are definitely going to be heading out east. We had hoped to go to Overland Expo East this year. Still going to try to do that. It just depends on if those dates move around a little bit. We'll see how that goes. A lot of things are in flux right now. I mean, look, Easter Jeep Safari just got canceled. Overland Expo West, they just moved those dates. But we will be going out east, and especially now with E3 Overland, we're going to be doing some regional meetups, and that will be a lot of fun. I can't wait to do that, because going out and meeting up with folks, but then doing some cool adventures, hitting some awesome trails along the way. Yeah, time to head out east. Will Palmer 28, what's the future plans with the JK? Is it leaning more towards being a rock crawler? Look, the JK has always been a rock crawler, right, Jordan? I mean, look, we've always hit rocks with those, but it's been overlanding and rock crawling, what we've kind of termed rocklander, but things have changed with it, you know. I mean, we have taken a lot of weight off there, and we're still going to hit a lot of hard trails, but still do long distance travel with it. I mean, look, whether I'm taking my hiking gear, just a simple backpack and sleeping bag and tent, or we're hooking it up to the Patriot Campers trailer and going doing some long trips, it's still going to be a rock crawler, but it's still going to be an overland vehicle. The Gladiator is great for doing long distance stuff when you need to carry stuff. I think for Alaska, that's the perfect vehicle to take, but the Wrangler's not going anywhere. So are we still going to, is it going to become a rock crawler? Well, it already is, right? Yep. Squid Vicious. Yeah, that's a cool name. I like that. What would be your dream overland build, any year or make of vehicle? A lot of vehicle questions you guys are submitting. So what would be my dream overland vehicle? Well, look, I mean, I think the Earth Roamer, the $500,000 Earth Roamer, those are pretty cool, but that's not the type of wheeling I do. I don't need all that luxury, so that wouldn't be a dream overland vehicle for me. Honestly, I think just the new Jeep Wrangler diesel, I think that is pretty cool. I think it would be an awesome build that you could do with one of those. I mean, look, the diesel is huge. Those are starting to show up at dealerships. I got a buddy that just got one. We're going to be taking a look at that soon. He's getting 27 to 28 miles per gallon with that thing. I would love to do a Wrangler diesel build. Yep. Overland Bear, do you regret going to the soft top on your Jeep Wrangler? That's a good question, and I was a little worried when I started to go down that road of, you know what, I'm going to pull the hard top off and I'm going to put the soft top on. Do I really want to do that? And I'm so thankful I did. The Jeep Wrangler drives so much better with all that weight removed and the hard top. Now the soft top's a little louder, so that's something that I've had to kind of deal with. And obviously if I'm parking in a big parking lot somewhere, you know, it's easier for somebody to break in the Jeep with a soft top versus a hard top. But do I have any regrets? No, I love it. Plus I just love the way it looks. It's got that more of that military look to it. Jeremy, how long did it take you to get used to filming everything and get comfortable in front of the camera? Look, I'm still not comfortable in front of the camera. It's weird talking to the camera, especially when my son is back here laughing at me, right? Yeah. I goof on the camera all the time, and it's not easy just to talk to this lens object that's staring in front of you. If you look at some of the earlier videos, I didn't even get in front of the camera in the beginning, or when I did, it was a little awkward. So it's just something that I just kind of forced myself to do more and more. And filming things, you know, filming everything we do. We don't film everything we do, but when we do film stuff, we go into it with the mindset knowing, look, this is going to slow us down because we need to stop. We got to get this shot, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be doing some filming today later on Jordan's Jeep. And we already know that that's going to take us a little bit longer just because we're filming it. So it takes some getting used to getting in front of the camera. Smoky Overland, do you run your CFX3 exposed in your trunk? So he's asking about my Dometic fridge, I think, in the back of the Gladiator. So it's open to the elements. It's open air because of the rack system that we have. And I haven't had any issues with it. They don't sell the refrigerator as an all elements refrigerator, but it hasn't had any problems with rain or dust, anything like that. Actually, my slider has more problems than anything because it gets all gummed up with dirt. I've got to clean that out. I think hopefully down the road, I'll be enclosing the Gladiator, so we'll put some kind of shell on there so that won't be an issue anymore. But I haven't had any problems with having that refrigerator exposed. Slimer X, how is the transformation from military to business owner life? Are you enjoying it? So if you would have asked me 6 years ago when I was active duty in the military, because I was a Navy corpsman for 26 years, you're going to be doing YouTube for a living at some point, I would have laughed out loud and been like, what are you talking about? And so it's crazy how life takes you on these different paths that you never expected. When I retired from the military, we had just started making YouTube videos, and we were just really kind of doing it for a hobby. And then I was working as a contractor for the Navy for a couple of years. And this just started growing and growing, and started enjoying it. So yes, we're enjoying it. And it wasn't until about 5 months ago we started doing this full time. And I'm having a blast with it. I mean, sitting here filming in the garage, talking with you guys, hanging out with my son. We're going to do some projects today in the garage. I love doing this stuff. So I'm having a blast. It's fun. But I never, ever expected it to be something I was doing for a living. Palmer X, when are we going to see the whole family on a wheeling camping trip with all the rigs? Great question. We had hoped that was already going to have happened because Jordan just got home from the military. It's great to have you home, buddy. Yep, good to be back. He got his new Jeep, and we were going to go do a trip with the whole family because the boys, his brothers, are on spring break. Regina was going to take a couple days off. But with world events, we just decided, you know what, we need to put that off a little bit. So we're still going to do that. We just got to figure out when the right time is. Jordan's going to be pretty close to home now, bugging me here in the garage all the time with his Jeep. But we are going to do a family trip where we just take all the vehicles. That'll be fun. It's something we're actually looking forward to. A Torres 86. After all this blows over, do you have any plans to test the Gladiator to its absolute limits while being safe? Look, I never built the Gladiator to go out and rock crawl it and bang it up and test it to its full limits. We've taken it out on some pretty good trails already and kind of gotten high centered and had to break out the winch and banging up the rear end because of that departure angle so long. I think we need to pull it in the garage and do a little assessment, and maybe I'll show you guys that. But the whole plan with the Gladiator is to make it as capable as possible. But if I'm going to go hit a trail that I know is going to be super hard, that's not the vehicle I'm going to take. I'm going to take the Wrangler. I'm going to leave the Gladiator home and save that for the mild trails. Still pretty capable though. We've had it on some pretty good stuff. Driven Mad. You've said before that you're an all-around car guy and that you had a Mustang before. And as an all-around car guy and Jeep enthusiast myself, what do you think of the new Corvette? Love the videos, man. Well, thank you, buddy. I love the new Corvette. I mean, yeah, I had a couple Mustangs. I've always been a hot rod guy. I love off-road vehicles and Jeeps, but my heart is still in the hot rod vehicles. I think the new Corvette is awesome. I mean, it's got that mid-engine placement. It's 0 to 60 times, what is it, Jordan, like 2.9 seconds?
Yeah, like 2.9.
The thing is stupid fast. I mean, that's like Ferrari and McLaren fast. I mean, it's just awesome. I don't know, what do you think about it?
I mean, it looks great, so.
Oh yeah, it looks awesome too. I mean, the Corvette, I love it. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm like, what are you doing, Brad? This is an off-road channel. You're talking about the Corvettes. I like them. Lost Boys Adventure 2018. If you could a 4x4 overland anywhere in the world, what would that trip be? Ooh, that's a tough question. Something I've thought about a while ever since I looked at this question. I think going to New Zealand would be like #1 on my list. I mean, I've seen some pictures of New Zealand and I would just love to go explore there. I've talked to my good friends from the Epic Family Road Trip and they went there and had some awesome times, and I think that would be just amazing. Maybe second would be Australia. I think that's the ultimate destination to go do some overlanding, and I would love to go to South America someday. There's a lot of logistics involved to make sure that everything is good to go before you head down there. But I think New Zealand, Australia, and South America. I know you didn't ask for my top 3, but there you go. Ryan Haney, what upgrade do you think your son should do that he doesn't want to do and you're really going to push him to do on his Jeep? Looking forward to the videos. Well, thanks. Great question. Look, Jordan has a good head on his shoulders, and you know, he's been hanging out with me for a long time, and he's thought a lot about what he wants to do to his Jeep, and so you got a pretty long list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got a really long list of stuff he wants to do, and so I haven't had to really tell him what to do on the Jeep. The conversations that we have been having are what maybe not to do, because the last thing you want to do is throw big, massive bumpers and all this extra weight on there. And I know there's a lot of stuff that you want to do, but we've been having these discussions. Got to talk about weight, and so I haven't really had to tell him what to do. Just like, look, we got to slow down a little bit. Let's think about how heavy we're going to make this Jeep, because it's just a little 2-door. We don't want to weigh it down too much and, you know, stress out that 4-liter motor. So those are the conversations we're having, but I think his build plan is pretty solid. I can't wait until it's finished. Jason Giles, what's your thought on using an old Hummer H3 as an overlander? I know some models have locking differentials. Great question. I think the H3 is a good option for the people that are going to use it for the intended purpose of just, you know, doing some long distance travel, maybe some mild off-roads. I don't think you need to have a specific type of vehicle. I don't think you need to have lockers to be overlanding. Overlanding is really just about the journey, to go across country, be self-sustained. Maybe you just want to hit the pavement and hit some national forests or state parks along the way. You don't really need a Jeep that's heavily built. You don't need a very expensive vehicle. I mean, look, just some basics, you know, a tent, sleeping bag, you know, cooking gear, just some of the easy stuff. You don't have to have any kind of specific vehicle. I think that H3 is a good option. You would probably build that up pretty nice. Ronald Lee, is the wife going to have her own YouTube channel? Yeah, that's not ever going to happen. Jordan, you think she'll ever do that?
No, never.
No, never. Look, I've got to tug on her pretty hard just to get her in front of the camera for the few videos that we've done. And she does a great job, but I don't think she'd ever have her own YouTube channel. She's pretty busy in her own job. All right, last question, and the one that I get asked a lot, and this comes from GHoops1. A really tough one coming at you, Brad. Your JK or your JT. You can only keep one. Which one are you keeping? We all know that that's never going to happen. So, my Wrangler or my Gladiator? If I could only keep one, which one would it be? Well, it's actually not a tough question. It's a pretty easy question for me. The Wrangler, hands down, the Wrangler. For the type of wheeling that I do, the Wrangler is the best all-around vehicle for me. Maybe I'll do that diesel build later on, diesel Wrangler build. I think that would be cool. I love the Gladiator. I love the towing capability. I love all the extra stuff we can put on there. But my heart is still at the Wrangler. To be able to go hit some of those tough trails, you know, the Rubicon and John Bull and some of those other ones that I haven't even been to, I know that the Wrangler is going to get me to where I need to go, and I can still be self-sustained. So for me, it's the Wrangler all day, but both great vehicles. All right, that was a lot of questions. We didn't spill my coffee, which was good, and Jordan didn't burp back there, and so it was good. We had a good time. I hope you enjoyed checking this out. I hope everybody is doing well and staying safe and healthy. If you have questions that maybe we didn't address today, let me know down below. Throw some questions down. Should we do this garage coffee again? We'll see. I had fun doing it. Yeah, that's it, guys. All right, now I know Jordan wants to get busy working on his Jeep. What are we installing today?
Tire carrier.
Tire carrier. So we're going to do that video here next as soon as I get this uploaded. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.